I'm with an energy group, the Colorado Independent Energy Association, that has for more than 20 years been involved with independent power, where we build power plants, wind, solar, gas-fired, et cetera, and sell to the utilities. And one of our most respected board members has been TJ Deora, who in January was appointed by Governor Hickenlooper to head up the governor's energy office. So he's the lead spokesperson in Colorado for energy, and in my estimation, the one who knows most about the current status of energy in this state. So we're privileged to have TJ with us. And just for a little bit of background, prior to taking this position, he was with Horizon Wind in the Rockies here in their development of their private power projects, wind projects, and transmission. And before that, in New England, the same responsibilities in New England. And he was also, along with being on our board, he was on the board of another leading energy group, the Interwest Energy Alliance, and co-founder of the Colorado Colorado Renewables and Conservation Collaborative. And prior to that, with the McKinsey Group in Washington, D.C., and also before that with Calpine's trading group in Houston, and before that with Dow Chemical. And as he came out of college with a mechanical engineering degree, and then got his MBA from Harvard, and also served 2 years in the Peace Corps. So he has quite an interesting background and a special friend. Please help me welcome TJ Deora.
Well, thanks for the... Is it there? Test? Yep. Thanks for the welcome, Nick. Thanks, everyone here, for having me today. For those of you who don't know, Nick has been very instrumental in Colorado's transformation of our electric power sector. I know you guys are spending the year here celebrating the 100th anniversary of Rotarians here in Colorado and in Denver, and that's fantastic to see an organization that has that kind of legacy. We really, really appreciate that. We understand in the administration that's part of what makes Colorado such a great state. But I want to brag on Nick a little bit. Nick has been really instrumental as executive director of the Colorado Independent Energy Association, and really has been one of the key elements in helping transform our electric power sector from its traditional sources into the new and emerging sources, and doing it from inside, someone who understands. He got involved in the electric power sector, developing gas-fired power plants, and really has continued to be, throughout his time as executive director, a leader in seeing that transformation. So that's been fantastic. And Nick is about to step down as executive director, in the process of stepping down. And while he's done a great job in picking a successor to lead the organization forward, we are going to miss Nick's excellent ability to get competitors together and work productively. And Nick's soft touch and understanding of the issues in a deep way has really been helpful for the state. And so folks may not be aware, but Nick, it really has been a key element in service to the state, so I appreciate that. So thanks, Nick. Now that I've bragged on him, I'm gonna use him as a disclaimer. If you guys don't like what I say today, you can blame Nick, because Nick is the person who encouraged me to apply for this position. Nick was in a situation where he had some influence on the transition team and who the governor was going to select to run the governor's energy office. And he encouraged me to apply and provided a lot more support and a lot of, not just encouragement, but support and a lay of the land and understanding of what it would take to be in this position. And I agreed to apply thinking there's no way in the world I'm going to get this. I'm not an insider in politics, either at Denver or Colorado at all, but Nick was really strong there. So it's his fault if you don't like it. And I guess he can take some credit if you do like what I'm going to say. So the electric power sector, and more broadly the energy industry, is obviously a very key industry for the state of Colorado. It's about $24 billion of economic activity contributing to the gross state product. That's across all energy types. It's about 10% of the state's gross state product. So really fundamental. I think most people have an appreciation for that, that it's that significant to the state. And of course, it's evolved. You know, we've had 100 years ago, thinking about using gas lamps and thinking about how we, the first thoughts about how we might electrify the state, and really doing that dependent on coal. Coal has been an incredible resource for us to be in the state. We're a coal exporting state. So it's been great not just for the export potential, but also in helping drive the rest of our economy forward. And as we evolved in our technology over the past 10 decades, we have found other resources, oil and gas, obviously key resources that have evolved and driven the state forward. And we're continuing to go through a transformation. The previous administration, I think most folks would be aware, really focused on making sure Colorado was a leader in what they term the new energy economy, and has really been successful in making the new energy economy a key pillar, a key part of the state's broader energy portfolio. And so in this administration, we're thinking about how do we build on that success? How do we carry the momentum forward? And how do we evaluate where we are in the electric power space and the transportation fuel space and what we're going to do in the future? And so in doing that, of course, new administration, the governor wants to bring his brand and his imprint on what we're doing. And the Governor Hickenlooper's focus really is on good governance. He very clearly stated, I think he said at the inauguration and again in the State of the State, that in our administration we are going to measure everything. So the first thing that we wanted to do was measure what has been the cost benefit of this transformation and create a framework for continuing to measure how we want to go looking forward. And as we think about that, of course, we got to understand what we're trying to measure. So one of the first things we did with the Governor's Energy Office in thinking about energy policy for the state of Colorado is think about a shift from the means, which the previous administration described as renewable energy and energy efficiency being the focus of the Governor's Energy Office, and shift instead to the ends that we all care about, which are job creation, energy security, long-term consumer cost protection, and environmental protection. And so that's the first thing that we did was we made this shift. And then we started thinking about, okay, what are the opportunities going forward? So the first opportunity and the first area that we're working on is what we're calling a balanced energy portfolio, a open, stakeholder-driven process that is analytical in evaluating the cost-benefit of where we've come to so far and different scenarios going forward. Thinking about, we have a renewable energy standard, we have Clean Air, Clean Jobs, 1365. What really makes sense from a holistic perspective going forward? What would a next step be? And we want to do it, like I said, in an open, transparent, stakeholder-driven way. And so the first goal that we have is to launch a stakeholder process that's going to we've created a new analytical modeling tool, an Excel spreadsheet, that while it's not as precise as what the utilities are using, is precise enough to guide our policy direction and accessible enough for all the expert stakeholders to get together and have a common conversation. There's lots of conversations. Is the answer wind? Is the answer solar? Is the answer coal? Is the answer nuke? We don't want to have debates, uninformed debates about this. We want to have informed analytical debates about what the fundamental values of each of the technologies are, what the risks of each of these technologies are, and then inform that in coming up with future policy and portfolios. The second area we're focused on is thinking about the previous administration was transformational electrical power sector. We want to think about how can we be transformational in the transportation fuel sector. And so we're thinking about a balanced energy portfolio in transportation fuels as well. Right now, probably most folks are aware, we get about 95% of our transportation fuels are petroleum derivatives, and most of the rest of that 5% is ethanol that's used as an oxygenate for gasoline. So we are pretty dependent on one single fuel source, and we are looking to see, are there opportunities to diversify more broadly from that one single fuel source? And we've realized there's an opportunity that we think we're ready to capture as a state relatively quickly. We can very much get the benefits of this in the short term, and that is compressed natural gas as a transportation fuel for fleet vehicles. We think about this in terms of jobs, security, cost, and environment. It is a huge win for the state of Colorado. From a jobs and security perspective, we produce a lot of natural gas in the state. In fact, we export much more gas than we consume in the state. I think the ratio, if I remember correctly, is about 9 to 1. So for every million BTU of gas we produce, 90% of that is going out of the state, 10% is consumed in-state. And we have the capacity to produce a lot more gas. So from a security perspective, it's fantastic because it's an in-state resource. And from a jobs perspective, it's fantastic because it is a resource. Again, we have to hire people